So welcome, Austin. So the stage is yours. So
Thank you.
Maybe just one sentence. As I promised, now zero theory, 100% practice, live coding from Austin. Off you go.
Here we go. I might there might be a tiny bit of theory, like 2%. We'll throw that in here just to give some context. So thank you, Merrick, for having me. Hello, 0xPoland. Thank you, MP. That was a great talk. I love thinking about all the creators that are going to be empowered by this technology. And the thing that I want to kind of highlight as I go through coding this is just how any old developer and artist type can just grab something off the shelf and really deploy something really neat on Ethereum. And that's kind of what I'm going to dive into here. So here we go. I think, what is it, 10:30? We'll go for maybe 30 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. We'll see how we go. Maybe break it up into 10-minute blocks. So first of all, a quick intro. I'm Austin Griffith. You can hit me up at austingriffith.com or at Austin Griffith on the tweets. So hit me up if you have questions. My DMs are open. I'm always looking for great developers and to help great developers get onboarded into Ethereum. Also, this is an NFT talk, so if you're a weird artist, developer, or whatever, reach out, hit me up in the DMs, and let's figure out how to get you building on Ethereum. So let's first of all, I want to kind of set this as kind of the base, the layer, the foundation, right? If you need help, go to ethereum.org. There's so much good content here where you can learn more and find out how it works, find out how to build. But particularly, we're talking developers today, right? And there's tons of tutorials too, like documentation. Look at all this documentation. I bet you didn't think that was on there. Look at all this stuff. Ethereum.org has really evolved and really matured and became a great hub for Ethereum and Ethereum developers in particular. So learning to code, you could grab Remix off the shelf and kind of code something up, or you can dive into ETH build and play around, and then setting up a local environment. There's a lot of great options here too. And one that's not here, but Merrick has just recently released is Use dApp, and that's another great one to check out. We'll dive into scaffold-eth in a second, but I want to pull back just a little bit and talk about ETH build. If you're doing any tinkering on Ethereum, or you're looking to learn the kind of the foundational knowledge, there's sort of, hash functions, key pairs, transactions. I go through with ETH build and kind of wire these things up live on YouTube and kind of talk through distributed ledger, Byzantine generals, kind of getting to this problem of consensus and how it's solved by proof of work, and then into blockchain transactions, and finally smart contracts. All right, so what is ETH build? So ETH build is not only kind of like this educational framework, but also this kind of like node editing library. So I can grab a hold of this. Let me zoom in a little bit. I can grab a hold of this, or I can bring in, say, a hash function, right? And we can hash hello world, and we see it show up on the other side, right? So you kind of have these tools, and you also have a lot of Web3 tools, like even the transaction pool if you want. But this is just a simple gas calculator I built, and all these little dashboards are great. I keep these on my desktop, and I pull them up every once in a while. We'll come back and we'll look at this, but you can put in how much gas you're going to use, and it's going to go get the gas price for the fast speed. It's going to get the price of Ethereum for you. It's going to multiply everything out and tell you, at 21,000, you're going to spend $5. So to send $1 million on Ethereum right now, it's going to cost you $5 to get that to go through quickly. Here's another one I use. So this one is looking at the most recent block, and then also the highest prices in the transaction pool, the mempool, and then it's also following my address, and so it lets me know where I am in terms of getting that transaction executed. Another handy thing to use ETH build for. Okay, I'm going to leave this. We might come back to this, but it uses so much CPU, I'm just going to throw it to the side. Okay, now we're ready to start at least building a dApp, and then soon we will get into NFTs. The next thing I want to introduce is scaffold-eth. So scaffold-eth is a freestanding decentralized app. It's got the smart contract backend, it's got a React front end, and it's got a bunch of handy scripts that I've written and the community has written to kind of wire those things together and give you the experience of, I have a dApp, it's up, it's ready to go. I could deploy it to production right now if I wanted to. What I want to do is learn how this all works by making some small changes and tinkering and kind of learning Solidity, learning dApp building, learning the mental model, just understanding kind of what this elephant is, right? Okay, so let's just go for a quick spin up here. So I'm going to bring up. Let me start with just scaffold-eth. So if you even Google scaffold-eth, right, you're going to land here and it'll take you to the repo, and there's a quick start. And what we'll do is we'll clone it down, we'll cd in, and we'll do a yarn install. That takes a while, and I've done that kind of with 3 different repos down the line. But from there, we'll do a yarn start, and that will bring up this React dev server. Then we'll cd in and we'll yarn chain, and that will bring up your Hardhat node. So Hardhat is the kind of back end here. It is our local blockchain, and it has a bunch of accounts that are loaded up with money, and it also has a nice quick chain for us to make transactions against. But it's built for introspection. It's going to give us stack traces. It's going to let us do things like console log right in our smart contract. So let's just run through a quick little setup of scaffold-eth before we move on to upgrading to building NFTs. So the last thing we do once we have our dev environment and our chain is we'll do a yarn deploy, and that's going to compile this sort of template smart contract. It's going to deploy it to our local chain, and then it's going to inject it into our front end, and our front end will reload. And what you get here is this nice scaffolding that basically reads what your smart contract has and then gives you an interface for it. So it's kind of like the Etherscan read-write contract stuff, but locally with your own contracts, and it will change. Let's see, let's change this to dApps, right? Well, it already says unstoppable apps, so that's basically dApps anyways. Let's go just make a small change to our smart contract. We made one little change here. Now our contract address is going to change. We're going to get a new contract, and hopefully this purpose will change here. There we go. Okay. So we're in the dev loop now. We're able to make changes to our smart contract. We're able to see them in our app, and we're able to kind of like start testing assumptions and trying things out. So if we wanted to interact with our contract, we are going to need gas. And there's a nice button up here, which kind of leads me to the next talk, which is like, let's talk about accounts. But first, let me see if I can set the purpose here to hello 0xPoland. Let's go. There we go. All right. And let's try doing a send. There we go. So we crafted a transaction. We sent it to our smart contract, and we updated the purpose in our smart contract. Okay, so before we get into that too far, let's talk accounts real quick. So with scaffold-eth, when you land, so I'm going to open up an incognito window, and I'm going to go to localhost 3000. What we'll see is we get a different address. See how this is like purple guy, purple CACD, and this is like B2A9. Okay, so if we look at these two, we can see that this CACD doesn't have any money yet, and we can see that D2A9 has 20. So let's copy their address, and let's go over to a wallet, and let's paste it in, and let's send them $5 in Ethereum, and I bet we pay quite a bit in gas. Well, we saw it back on that gas calculator. It was about $5 we pay in gas also. So there we go. So now we've got accounts. We're able to send money back and forth between those accounts. And if you see that, let's just dive into that again. Kind of every time you're going to build an app, you're going to say, I need an address input, right? And it would be super dope if I could type in vitalik.eth and it would do ENS resolution for me, right? It's really nice when I can copy this by just clicking on it, and I can paste it. Oh, come back here. I can paste it in here, and I can see that little blocky preview. If I copy this guy's address, it should turn purple, right? So the app itself has a bunch of components and hooks that are going to help you with your front end, so you can focus on what changes do I need to make to this smart contract, and what changes do I need to how do I wire that up in my front end, and all the other stuff is kind of all taken care of for you, and you can iterate on what's important. So there we go. We've got our second player. I'm going to close him out. We're able to talk to our smart contract. If we go look at our smart contract, it's just keeping track of some purpose. A lot of times I like to do an underflow. I'm not even really going to do that demonstration here. The console log. Let's do this. Let's set the purpose one more time. Hi. and let's hit send. What I want to go see is right over here. Over here in our Bidler in our hard hat terminal, it used to be called Bidler. In our hard hat terminal, we've got a console log that says, this address, D2A9, set the purpose to hi. So if you're in there and you're building some, intricate piece of Solidity code, and you're doing some math and somehow it's rounding and you're losing things, and you wish you had some introspection into what was going on with your smart contract, there you go. You can kind of get in here, it's a little bit caveman debugging still. This is some heady state-of-the-art stuff, though. This is tough stuff. But once you get in here, these console logs are going to help you out a lot. So you can, with scaffold-eth, with hard hat, kind of have that introspection into what the heck is going on. And when something weird is going on, you can always get in there and kind of get a console log going and figure out what's going on. Okay, I think we've basically covered the most, like the premise of scaffold-eth. We've talked about the back end. Let's look at the front end actually, real super quick. If you go to example UI, I've created an example, and there's events here. There are these buttons here, and then if we go look at that over in the app, you can see kind of, here's the button to set the purpose, right? We're tracking the purpose with a state variable, and then we're using this kind of transaction helper here, where we go to our write contracts, because that has a signer. We go to your contract and we say set purpose, and we pass it in, right? And then so over here, I can say hi and hit set purpose, and there we go. We basically created that a front end for that smart contract in this little box right here, right? Now we could ship that to production by changing our hard hat network and doing a yarn generate and a yarn deploy. But let's not worry about pushing to production. Let's say we've got the basics of scaffold-eth down, and now we want to move on to NFTs real quick. But let me show you just some examples of some things that are built with scaffold-eth. So the first thing, the fact that you can pull all this stuff off the shelf, we're seeing a lot of people use this for a lot of hackathons. One thing that we built is Nifty Inc. So if you go to nifty.inc, you can see this really cool NFT platform. And if you happen to look kind of closely, you'll see that, that's using scaffold. I can tell that is the same style as scaffold-eth, right? And same thing, right? I can pull this wallet and I can say, hey, let's go to vitalik.eth, and then there we go. So this is an NFT platform built with scaffold-eth. It's on a side chain that upgrades to Ethereum. It has some really neat scalability properties, but that is a talk for another day. Another fun little build recently is the Punk wallet. So I created this burner wallet-like experience where you can kind of select whatever network you want, and your identity is CryptoPunk. So I'm even going to take a gamble here, and I'm going to put my Punk wallet on localhost. There we go. It did work. It even gives me the ability to grab funds. So you can technically just spin up a hard hat node or any local ganache, any RPC, and you can open up a Punk wallet and have it operate on your local host and have multiple identities. Let's see, if I go Punk wallet here, we're going to have a different Punk wallet. There we go. And even log out of my MetaMask. There we go. There's a random Punk. Cool. So if I can copy this Punk's address and paste it in here, and we see, oh yeah, that is definitely that dude there. And then we do, $2, and we hit send. And hopefully locally, this guy picks up. Let's see if I go to localhost. There we go. We've got $2 on localhost. So fun little way to kind of show off how to send around Ethereum, and also just kind of something quick built with scaffold-eth. I kind of pulled the master branch off the shelf and just quickly hacked that together. And hopefully you can do the same thing. So we've got a base level of, hey, scaffold-eth is a dApp. You can use it to build your backend and your front end. You can use it to deploy dApps quickly. What can I use that for? And that will take us to the simple NFT example. So here we go. This is a scaffold-eth branch that's going to take us through deploying NFTs. Let me make sure we got everything stopped over here. No local chain. Okay, so I'm going to fire up a yarn install and a yarn start, just following these instructions exactly. I don't even know. I'm gonna paste this into my chat. I don't know if it'll make it to you guys. Here we go. Watch this. If you want the link to this repo, I was gonna put it into ETH build. Too much work. I'm not doing it. I'll send it. We'll send in the show notes or something. But here is the simple NFT example. Really, you could just Google for scaffold-eth, go to the branches, type in simple. You're going to find simple NFT right there. Okay, so starting here, we've done a yarn install and a yarn start. Now let's do a yarn chain, and we'll bring up that local hard hat node. Okay, and notice there's all of our accounts that are full. And then let's see, let's follow the instructions here exactly. It tells us to do a yarn deploy. All right, let's do it. So again, this is going to be a freestanding NFT app, and we'll be able to kind of tweak it to make the changes we want. But it kind of works out of the box and then lets us make the changes we need. Any old hacker, any old artist should be able to do a git clone of this thing and follow these instructions and have your NFT gallery up and be able to kind of iterate from there. Okay, let's see what we have here. There we go. Very familiar, right? We've got a scaffold-eth. Ooh, flashing all over the place. I'm sorry. Got a scaffold-eth app here. Let's see what it tells us to do. Okay, open up localhost 3000. We've got it. Doesn't look like we have any collectibles yet or transfers. Looks like we could go to the faucet and get some funds. Okay, so now we've got some local funds for gas. All right, what's next? Okay, so we need to edit the mint script. So in Hardhat scripts, there's your usual deploy script, but with this build in particular, there is this mint script. So in the mint script, it looks like we get to pick our front end address. So I'm going to grab this address and hit paste. So I think that's what the instructions have us do. Just bring in your front end address and paste it there. And then we're ready to run the mint. So what this is going to do is it's going to take some NFTs that I've set up already, and we'll dive into what this really means in a second, but it's going to take some already ready to go paintings of mine, and we're going to mint them locally. The goal being to set you up for kind of having something that you can iterate on. So let's do it. Let's do this yarn mint. Let's see what happens here. So my assumption is we've already deployed our contract, and the yarn mint is going to get in here. There we go. So we're uploading to IPFS, and then we're minting these paintings. There we go. We got a fish. What's next? What's next? Oh yeah, there we go. Flamingo, Godzilla. Okay, so here are our NFTs. They've already been minted. Let's see what is next. There we go. Yep, we do see them. It is working. Okay, now it tells us to open up an incognito window. And let's go to localhost 3000. And what do you think? It's going to give us a burner wallet. It's going to give us a new address, right? This is 569F. This one is D2. And then what we want to do, this guy doesn't even have any gas yet. Let me just copy his address and let's send him this zebra, right? So we paste that in. We can do a quick visual inspection to make sure, yeah, that is the address, and transfer. And hopefully, boom, there we go. So we moved it from one account to the other, right? So we've kind of, there's this front end that's already crafted for you to let you transfer these NFTs. So you can deploy an NFT contract, you can mint these NFTs, and then you can kind of transfer them around. And that's kind of the basics of this UI. But what we want to do is get in here. Let's see, we got that, we sent it around. Okay, let's see. It wants us to, okay, this is actually if we're going to deploy it. We're not going to deploy it live. I'll probably leave that and let's get in and start looking around. Yep, minting. Okay, cool. Lots of fun stuff here. Side quests. It'll help you get your NFTs onto OpenSea. It'll help you do some other things. But let's get in and like look at this NFT and look at some coding. Really, there hasn't been a lot of live coding. It's been a lot of live looking here. But that's one of the great parts of Ethereum is there's a ton of composability. What we've done here is we've grabbed OpenZeppelin's ERC721 contract. So if we go here and paste this in, we should be able to find their example. So first of all, if you go to their GitHub and you go to their contracts, this is where a ton of stuff, the Ethereum space as a whole inherits a lot of stuff from these OpenZeppelin contracts. But if we go to contracts and we go to token and we go to ERC721, here we go. So here are here is the ERC721 token standard from or token contract from Open Zeppelin. And you can see there's a lot of stuff here. There's you know, a lot has changed since, you know, 2018 when this came out, but they've added a lot of like introspection and some other things that cost a little bit more gas, ways to kind of iterate through. But this is an NFT. So if we think of the code of an ERC20, it's more like a mapping of some account to some balance. So each individual account address has some balance, and that balance is just a number, and it increases and decreases, right? So to transfer this fungible ERC20, you know, Alice sends 10 to Bob, and Bob's balance goes up by 10, and Alice's balance goes down by 10. With an NFT, it's a little bit different. Here we are. We're doing less live coding and more theory, but an NFT is a little different. It's the other way around. The token has an owner. So each token is an individual unique item, and it has some individual unique metadata, but it also has a reference to an owner. And when you transfer that token around, you're just changing who the owner is. So ERC20, you're kind of adding and removing balances, right? ERC721, you have these each individual tokens that are unique, and each of them has an owner, and you're sending them around one at a time. You're minting them one at a time. Okay, cool. And if we get in here, we can see the code and see how that works. This token URI is the magic piece. So this unique metadata that we're talking about is this token URI. And inside of this token URI is just a string that is, you know, what makes this specific token worth owning? What is the thing that you are owning when you have this? You basically have this like record of owning it, but what you're owning is this string right here. And this string usually goes to an IPFS manifest. So usually you go out to, and let's just go look at that here. So in my Mint script, we have this Buffalo, right? And here is that manifest. And here's what it looks like if we were to put it into IPFS. So IPFS is this storage layer that's peer-to-peer. Eventually, I think there's some mechanisms to incentivize it. But within IPFS, we can do an upload. So what happened here is we took all this information and we put it out on IPFS, and what we get back is the hash or the fingerprint of that data, and it's content addressable. So if anything changes here, let's go ahead and say this is blue and hit save. Now watch this hash right here. When I upload this again, the hash is going to change. Yep. Okay. So now we have a different hash, 26. And if I upload that over and over again, I'm always going to get that same hash. So when you create your NFTs, you sort of figure out what the manifest of this NFT is, and you put that out on IPFS. It's saying, here's where you go to get the image, here's what the name of this is, even attributes that you want to show up on OpenSea and other platforms. You upload that to IPFS and you get your hash back. And then when we go back to our contract, we put that hash right in here. So that's the token ID. We put the hash right in here. That is our token URI. It returns this string memory token URI when you ask for it, and that gives you back this manifest. Okay, so we've got our Buffalo uploaded and changed. I think what we want to do now is maybe add this. So in this case, what we do is we mint them. So we deploy the contract, and let's actually do yarn deploy again and look at how big that thing is. There we go. So we deployed, it was 0.1 ETH is what that costs. So like $200, is that right? Let's see I don't even know what ETH is at right now, but if we do what, 0.016, something like that. Yeah, what, $350? Is that right? I think I'm thinking of this wrong because I feel like this. Oh, here. I know what we do. We'll go back and we'll look here. There we go. Oh yeah. So, whoa. Yeah, that is big. So that's 2 million gas. If we go back to our gas calculator that I had from ETH build here, we paste this in. Let's see how much this is going to cost us to deploy on mainnet. If we wanted to deploy this, $380. Is that right? I feel like it didn't update. Does it go to 38? Yeah. So $380 to deploy just this contract. Then when we mint each one of these NFTs, so if I do the yarn mint, you're going to see that each one costs, let's see one of these transactions go by. Yep, this much. Okay, so an order of magnitude less, but $54. Okay, so 300 some bucks to deploy a contract, and then each NFT that you mint is going to be $54. So if you wanted to mint a bunch of NFTs, this model is going to kind of break down, and what you need is a way to kind of like counterfactually mint them, or find a way to set it up so the buyer could mint them. And that's the next thing we're going to move on to. So the next yarn install and yarn start, the next branch of scaffold-eth we're looking at here is the buyer mints. And the buyer mints is going to try to push that minting cost onto the buyer and ask them to pay the gas to mint them. And so we're going to have to figure out some kind of trick to come up with how in the smart contract to set it up so we can say, here is the list of artwork that you're allowed to mint within our smart contract. So let's follow these instructions here. We pull down the buyer mints. We yarn install, we yarn start. Something's breaking there. I feel like, yeah, we're going to bring up our chain. I feel like we need to run, here we go. Yeah, so we need to do a yarn upload. The reason is there's this artwork file. So this repo has pulled the artwork out into its own file. So this is really built for, I'm an artist, go find a nerd friend. I'm an artist nerd. I can just edit this one artwork file. I can get into this artwork, and it's the same silly paintings of mine. But I can get into this and I can change, I can put in my own artwork, or I can be a developer, go to one of my artist buddies, have them put in an artwork, and then me as the developer can kind of pick it up and run with it. So here we go. We've got the yarn chain. Now we need to do a yarn upload. So it's going to go through our artwork and it's going to put our assets into IPFS. It's going to get that hash back. And what we're going to do is we're going to take all of those fingerprints for all of those paintings and we're going to deploy them with the contract. So let's go with our contract for this one. This contract is going to take in an array of assets for sale. So and then we've added, so we've taken that ERC 721 from the simple example and we've added a couple other new fields. And this is, by the way, talking about creators and creator economies, a great creator can take something like this and add, one or two little tweaks and create a whole new like financial mechanism to fund something kind of what MP was talking about earlier. What we're going to do is we're going to add this to say, these are the artworks that are particularly on sale, and they're going to get a URI to token ID. This is just for the front end to be able to map things together, but a small addition to this. And then we're going to create a require statement in here that says, hey, is this for sale? Is this a legal IPFS hash? And if it is, we'll let you through and we'll set it to false. So you can only mint one of them. And we've uploaded everything. I think we're ready to deploy this. All right, here we go. Yarn deploy. And we're going to deploy our smart contract. And this is just going to be one transaction, one single transaction. There it is. It's a little bit more expensive. Let's see. Let's go to, it's about as much as one contract and one minting. But where's our calculator? I want to go back to the calculator real quick and see how much this cost. This cost us. Here we go. Paste this in. It is, there we go, $588. Okay, so for me, the developer, for me, the artist, it was about $580 to put this out there, but now I don't have to pay any more gas. This thing is going to be set up. So now if we go to localhost and we fire up, let's see, what do we got? Okay, there's our whole gallery. Okay, so we're doing things a little differently here. None of these are minted yet. We've only deployed, we can see that we've deployed our contract, right? Oh, whoops, there we go. We can see that we've deployed our contract. It's out there. And we could go ask it, what's this guy's balance or something like that. It's 0. There aren't any NFTs deployed yet. There's just our collectible contract that's out there. What we need is to set it up so anybody can call this mint item. And what we're going to do is only allow them to mint items that are legal, and that will be any of our pieces of artwork here. So let's go ahead. Let's go back to our front end. Let's try making a couple of these and make sure it works. And then we can get in and start writing some code. What I'm thinking is we'll write a small little bit of like pricing functions. We've got maybe like 10 minutes left. I hope that's okay. Kind of watching the chat here. Hit me up. Hopefully 10 minutes is okay. What I want to do is just add, just like I said, I want to be a developer that pulls something off the shelf, takes something that's mostly working and adds like all I have to do is add this small mechanic. We're gonna maybe add a pricing function, maybe add a curve to it. We'll see if we have a little time, but let's make sure that we can at least mint these buffaloes now. So let's see. It's a bison, actually, isn't it? I'm going to, instead of hitting this button, which I could go to the faucet and I could go here too. But what I want to do is I'm going to go to the wallet. Let me show you that again. There's a wallet down in the bottom left here. I'm going to paste in my address, and I'm just going to give myself like $1 million or something like that. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so I've got $1 million of local funds. Can I, as a third party, so let's say someone else deployed this contract, they've paid $580, whatever, it's out there. They deploy this website, they yarn build it, and they ship it to S3 or Surge or IPFS, but it is now a public website. And I'm a millionaire and I land here and I decide I want to, I'm definitely going to mint that penguin. There we go. So I hit mint, and what happened there, we'll do another one. Let me clear the there we go. It's owned by me. Okay, how about this unsure hippo here? Let's mint this hippo. And where did it go? Right there. How much was it? Okay, so now I'm not even gonna go back to the counter. It's 200,000 gas. So now what's happening here is the buyer is paying to mint these. So the artist can say a one-time fee of my contract. Here's a big list of all my art. And then if someone wants to come along and buy those things, they pay the gas, they mint it, and now they own it. And let's just grab an incognito real quick and send it from one to the other to prove these things are just standard tokens we can send around. Let's go to your collectibles. Let's copy this. I think I need to go to your collectibles. There we go. Let's send him the penguin. Send him the penguin. And hopefully there it is. Yep. Okay, there we go. Okay. Now let's actually write some code here, right? We've got a basis of what scaffold-eth is. We've seen NFTs. Now this is kind of like this weird counterfactual example of NFTs. What we really want to do now is let's put a price function in here. So let's go to our smart contract and let's create a UNT 256 price. Make it public. Always make it public. Price, and we'll set it equal to, let's just do 1 ETH, right? 1 Ether. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that this mint function is now payable, right? We want to accept funds to this mint item. We want people to send in money, and how much, right? So let's add one more require statement. QU, sound out the French. Require, and what are we going to require? We are going to require that the message.value, which is a global variable that tells us how much money they sent in, that has to be greater than or equal to whatever our price is. So we're going to charge 1 Ether, and then if not, we'll say not enough, right? Okay, now let's ship this thing, right? Let's do a yarn deploy. It's going to compile it, probably give us compiler errors. Let's see, what did I do wrong? It worked first try. All right. So our new collectible is deployed. It does everything with the counterfactual minting, but now, it's going to cost money, right? Okay, so now if it mint, it's not going to send any money here. What we need to do is get into our front end and wire up this mint button. Let's see if I can go find it. Oh, look at that. First search. What I'm going to do is, here is, look, we've even got an override. So here is write contracts, your collectible mint item, and you're sending it in whatever ID. And it looks like we're even hard coding gas price. I'm going to hard code one more override here is what it's called. And I'm going to say value equals parse ether 1. I think I'm going to have to do like utils here. Let's see. What do we got? Let's just hit save and see what happens first, right? It did break. Okay. Just because I forgot a comma. Okay, let's get back over there. Whoops. There we go. Parse ether 1. There we go. Okay, now we've edited our front end and we can push that out, to deploy it, whatever. Now people are going to see our gallery, and when they hit mint, it's going to cost them 1 ETH, which we probably should do a better job of. Maybe we should call this buy and put a 1 and put a little ETH symbol there. I don't even know how to make it, but I'm going to say 1 ETH, buy. There we go. That's terrible UI. Just terrible. But we're going with it. Okay, cool. So we've got now our gallery, and now we've got a buy button, and it's going to cost us 1 ETH. It doesn't look like this guy even has, oh, there he goes. There's his $1 million. He's ready to go. Okay, now let's see if we can mint this buffalo and pay 1 ETH. There we go. We see our money go down. We see the thing get minted, and there we go. We own it now, and we paid for it. So how do we debug? Let's go over here to debug. And what we want to look at is this your collectible. Look at something new has happened here. If we look at the balance of the your collectible, it is now at 1 ETH. And if we go here and buy this one, right? So we're paying 1 ETH. We're paying the gas for it, and we're loading this contract up now. Now this contract should have 2 ETH in it, right? Cool. Okay, we've got a problem though. Oh no, we don't have any way to pull this money out. So basically the artist has deployed their NFT. They've set up their gallery. They let people counterfactually mint their NFTs and pay for them. But if we go back to our collectible, there's no way for us to withdraw our funds. So let's finish out by building just a little withdraw function here that lets us withdraw that. And we can talk about kind of next steps, but I just want to do this real quick. Okay, so inheritance, we're going to inherit the ownable pattern. The owner will be set to the deployer. And then what we want to do is create some function down here called withdraw. It will be it'll be a public only owner, right? We only want the owner to do it. And what's going to happen? We're going to say message.sender.transfer the address of this contract.balance. So basically, the owner should be able to get in here and call the withdraw function and pull out those funds out. One last thing we need to do here in this deploy script, after we deploy our contract, let's await, and we'll say your collectible dot transfer ownership. I think it's transfer ownership. Let's go look. Oh, it's not here yet. I'm just going to go with it. I think it's transfer ownership. So it's going to start being owned by our deployer account. But let's go ahead and transfer the ownership. Here, let's just create a new. This will be the artist. Here is the artist's address here. All right, 569F. Kind of some boring blockies. Let's see if I can get a better one. Come on. We got a second. Give us a cool blocky. It's so cool. No, same one. Okay, whatever. All right. So this is our artist 569F. We're going to set them as the owner of the contract. So this artist should be able to withdraw the funds from the contract once it's deployed. Everything looks good. Let's see. Let's ship it and see what happens. All right. Here we go. There we go, deployed our contract. We've got all of our artwork. Our app reloads. We have a new contract address. We go to the gallery. I'm going to buy the buffalo for 1 ETH. I'm going to buy the zebra for 1 ETH. I'm going to buy the rhino for 1 ETH. I'm going to buy the fish for 1 ETH. Oh, it feels so good. Uh-oh, not for sale. What did I do? Maybe I double tapped one of them. I don't know. We do own all 4 of them. We can look at our collectibles. For some reason, I could send one back to the artist if I wanted. Like that. Okay, but what we want to do now is we want to make sure the artist can get in here. So if the artist goes here and they go to debug contract, actually, let's do it as us first to make sure it doesn't work. They go here, there's going to be this new withdraw. Oh, wait, first of all, there's 4 ETH in the contract. You saw it. Okay, where is the withdraw? There, we've got this withdraw function that shows up, right? We've added something new to the contract. Now we have this new interface in that scaffolding. If I call withdraw, this should fail. Whew. Caller is not the owner. Okay, so who is the owner? Can we ask? There we go. The owner of this contract is 569F. And guess what? That's that dude. All right, here we go. He is about to withdraw. Where is the withdraw button? All right, we've got we have to get some funds, right? We can't withdraw. We don't have gas to pay for the transactions. We're going to have to put some funds in, only $2. But watch what happens when we withdraw from the contract. Boom, boom, boom. $9,000. Woo, we rich. All right, awesome. So that is the buyer. That is kind of a small twist that we can put on an existing repo to go from, okay, now we're kind of letting people mint and pay the gas to now this thing has a price, right? We've added in this price function and we've tested it. And it's like a yarn deploy, and then it's a yarn build, and you ship this thing, and then someone can go to it and start buying these NFTs. You basically deploy your contract to whatever network you want, and you deploy your app to some kind of static server, and you're ready to go. It's like a 5-minute process from this point. One thing, so let's talk next steps now. We did like a tiny little bit of program. I'm sorry. It was just a little bit, but there's a lot of context you need to get this printed out. Okay, so here we go. We've got this NFT. We've got the price function. We've got it set up so you pay 1 Ether. What are some great next steps? So one thing I would really love for you to check out, once you have a price function, think about how you could do a bonding curve. So bonding curves in those fungible ERC20 assets, they need some fancy math to figure out like the area under the curve, and ain't nobody want to mess around with that. You could just use the Bancor model. But if you're using NFTs are purchased one at a time in a very kind of like discrete one at a time way, which makes it perfect for a bonding curve, because what you can do is just create a multiplier. And the way I did this here, we did this, a fun one where you could have a multiplier of say 1337 and a denominator of, so you have a numerator and a denominator. Okay, so let's just call it a multiplier for now. Let's just say the price. So we go back to our price function. Okay. Each time, let's just do it right here. Each time someone purchases one, we make sure that the price goes up. But now we say price equals price times, let's just say 0.1, right? So now that price is going to go up, right? And each one that gets purchased, it's going to go up more. So just by putting this little function in here, we created this sort of like really cool kind of like liquidity curve that sort of stores the money. And instead of the artist getting in here and withdrawing, right, the liquidity is going to stay in the contract. And people can lock up funds and mint an NFT, but then they could come back here at any time and maybe burn the NFT and the price would go down, right? But here's the gotcha here. You can't use this 0.1 like this in Solidity. What you need to do is something like 13337, and then you go like that, and then out here you divide by 1000, right? Can't use decimals. You need to use a numerator and a denominator. There's a little Solidity gotcha there. But now this should, I don't know. Should we just see if it works? Oh no, it's not going to work because we're going to need to load the price function into the front end and pay that every time. I don't think I want to dive into that. I think we've kind of like reached the time limit here. So for next steps, grab that simple NFT, grab that buyer mint, put in a price function, see if you can set it up so that price works on a curve, right? There's so many fun things to do. Next steps, check out the active branches. So if you go to scaffold-eth, you go to these branches here. There's so many things here. Say you want to look at like commit reveal, or you want to look at bonding curves, or you want to look at like a denial of service attack on a contract. Like what can I learn? Also, if you're learning Solidity by example is really good. I should have pointed this out earlier. Really nice, clean examples of Solidity where you can get in here and say, you know, what is a reentrancy attack, and can I copy and paste it and put it right into scaffold-eth and play around with it. But next steps, you've got scaffold-eth, you've got NFTs, you've got a buyer mint. Get in here and look at the next, like what cool things are getting worked on. If you go to branches and you sort by active, there's so many cool things getting worked on by people. The Rad wallet, a Merkle buyer. Okay, this is really good. This is really good. So just talking about that counterfactual, we put all the fingerprints in the contract, and then you can mint them counterfactually. Checked out this branch. This branch is using a Merkle distributor. So you've got all of the IPFS hashes in a Merkle tree, and then when you go to mint, you have to prove that it exists in that tree, and then you can mint from there. So just another twist on this same NFT build that is actually like scalable up to like probably like, you know, thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of artwork. Say you have 100,000 pieces of art, and you only want to mint the 5 that someone else wants to pay the gas for. You could use something like this. Let's see, we're closing out here. NFT VRF stuff. Let's see, buyer mints, we just got that one. Chainlink. So lots of Chainlink stuff. Little games, Tenderly example. Chainlink, more Chainlink tutorials. Ooh, swaps and Aave. So within scaffold-eth, we have an Aave branch and we have a swapper. So we have a lender and a swapper. So you can like right off the shelf, you can have basically like a Uniswap-like UI right in your app, or an Aave-like lending UI right in your app. So maybe you wanted to create some kind of like NFT thing where they burn the NFT and then they get a loan on Aave or something like that. This is a great place to start and kind of like play around with what things exist and then what things can I take off the shelf and tweak and build what I want to build from there. All right, I think I'm about done. I think I have like everything covered. 100% open to questions. I can hang out, open to whatever. I'm Austin Griffith again on interwebs. You know how to find me. My DMs are open on Twitter if you have questions, and you can always just Google scaffold-eth. And I think there is a scaffold-eth, there's a support button. Yes. So if you go to scaffold-eth and you want to talk to other people that are building with scaffold-eth, hit that support button and it's going to take you to our Telegram, and I'll see you there. Awesome. Anything else? Any questions? I'm checking the chat. What do I see? Oh, this is a private chat, I think. I don't even see the chat. Hello, Merrick.
Hey,
hello, MP.
We are back for the Q&A session. So yeah, we have a few questions. Let's see. Let's start with the first one. The first one I think can go to either of you. So what's the next for NFTs after the hype is gone? So Maria Paula, would you like to start?
Well, what's next? You have to think that NFTs are actually smart contracts and they're tokens that live forever in the internet. So after the hype is gone, I guess the NFTs are there. The technology remains, and the hype, a lot of people compare it to the tulip hype. And what happened when the tulip hype ended? Well, the tulip industry stayed in the Netherlands. So I think the technology will stay simply.
A lot of people lost a lot of money, but the tulips are here today still. Well, Austin, would you like to add something?
Yeah, no, I think we're going to have these times in this kind of uncontrolled ecosystem where speculation pushes us up way too far, and then we see a fall. And there's a lot of people in those bear markets that are really like thinking about at the corner of technology and art, like what cool things can we build here and what cool structures can we use to fund the next things that we build here. So I think that like, yes, there's a lot of greed in the space right now, and we have to add a disclaimer, like there's a lot of greed here, but the technology and the tooling, any old dork can pull something off of GitHub and add a pricing function and create a gallery. Yes, that person could make money. Yes, that person could raise money. Yes, that could be speculation here. But there's also these really interesting mechanics that are getting created, and those, like MP said, are going to be around for longer than I am.
Hopefully. Well, if I may add something, I really see the NFT craze now the same way that ICO back a few years ago. And like it was a lot of ICOs, a lot of money, a lot of projects that didn't really lead to anything, and a lot of people earned a lot of money, and even more money, lost even more money. But something was supposed to stick, and what sticked was DeFi. And I remember like during the ICO craze, there was this project called MakerDAO, and I'm like, DAO is so, yeah, it was hard. The DAO is not cool anymore, like this is not interesting project. I'm not looking at that. And now the Maker turned out to be the Ignite for the DeFi, and it's still one of the biggest, and there's so much going on with that. So it's like you can see the direction, you can see the general direction, the trajectory that the industry is going, but you never, for me at least, I'm never gonna know what it's gonna be exactly, but I can see something gonna stick. What it's gonna be is there gonna be CryptoPunks, or is it gonna be back to CryptoKitties, or is it gonna be something completely new that we never thought about, that we like looking now at, and it's like, yeah, this is not interesting. Hard to judge, right?
Yeah, the only thing that we don't have to do is ask you for predictions, apparently.
Come again?
The only thing that we don't have to do is ask you for predictions, since you didn't hit it right with MakerDAO, from all things.
I'm 100% transparent, so yeah, definitely.
I do the same.
So here is another question, and I think again it can really go to any of you. So how does funding? Is that the second one? No, I think also what's the easiest way to mint your own NFTs? And I think there is more than one good answer. So who wanna start?
Austin,
There's lots of great platforms out there. Yeah, there's lots of. I mean, you've got OpenSea is the old classic. There's Zora. There's Foundation. There's a lot of platforms for you to mint this, but really the superpower here is what we just did over here with GitHub, right? Anybody should be able to pull these things off of a shelf and mint them themselves and add their own mechanics to their smart contracts. I mean, careful with your smart contracts. You need to do a lot of auditing, but I would push folks toward building it yourself. Build something cool, add something new to the space that doesn't exist, rather than take your Blender rendering and mint it on Foundation, even though those are very dope also. And for someone that can't pull something off the shelf, a great way is just to upload it to OpenSea and have it minted there. If you've got a developer friend or you're a developer friend, pull one of these repos off the shelf and try doing it that way, and hit me up if you have questions.
Yeah, I just want to add that there is a sort of difference because some platforms are actually not permissionless and others are. Not permissionless means that you actually have to apply for the platform, and then there's like a long process until you get approved. So, always look for the permissionless platforms. OpenSea is fantastic. Rarible is fantastic as well, because you don't need to, do anything to enter. You just need an ETH wallet, a little bit of gas, and your art. And then you can just mint very easily. Also, the documentation is always up to date. So yeah, in case of, when in doubt, try to go for the permissionless ones. You don't need the hype. Even if Foundation, it's an amazing platform, you probably need to test first NFTs if they work for you as well, because they're not for everyone.
So I would love to add that I think it's great that NFT space is a great place for technologists that can create their own NFTs, in a sense, creating new code and new value, new experiment with new ways of doing NFTs, but also for artists that you don't need to have all the technical knowledge. And here comes the next question. I think that's going to be particularly for NP. So how does funding content creators using NFT exactly works? If I decide to find a novel author and I'm getting a token or anything in exchange, it is kind of ICO for content creators. So
right.
Easy question at the same time.
Yeah, it's a really good question. Thank you, Michal. So basically, there's two options that we looked into in my presentation. One option is actually for content creators to mint a representative NFT of what they're doing, like the open source science one. And then you would buy that NFT and you would unlock also private content for you via that NFT. You get the token, you get the NFT that it's representative to that particular research. So that's one of the options. Then the other two options, the bounty token for the auctions and the right novel that you actually mentioned here, are funded via a platform that's called Mirror. In Mirror, of course, you need to enter some sort of game to access the platform, and it's not very easy right now, but it's going to be easier. They're in super, super alpha. I actually got in last week after 6 weeks of trying, and basically you donate to that novel author. And it depends on the setup that they have, that they have decided. The author is actually, getting the novel token funded. You would get the token, and then you can trade it in Uniswap, or maybe they do another kind of auction where the novel token has no value. So it depends on every person that designs their own crowdfunding mechanism.
I would like
one thing to add to that is just the long tail. Like, sure, it's an ICO, but instead of like 18 orgs raising millions of dollars, it's more like 18,000 people raising a small amount of money to continue, right? Like it's all those creators down the long tail that are selling to their communities instead of an ICO, like we think of classically.
But that is not something that newspapers would cover, right? So we only hear about those super expensive if you're not following space so closely, which is a little bit unfortunate. And yeah.
Absolutely. And you also have to think that, authors and artists and musicians, they're usually bound to a lot of middlemen. So, what you pay for an album is not what the artist gets. There's a whole industry and a lot of middlemen that have no business being there as well. So when you fund a novel or an NFT, that goes directly to the artist that you love. And that's super important.
Yeah, lovely. Let's go for the next one. Austin is a little bit pixelated. I think that the reason might be that he's in Denver over the ocean, but I think the sound is fine. So
no, it's my ETH2 node. Let me shut it off just a second. It's totally using up all my bandwidth.
And now you're telling us. Okay, let's go. Let's give him a moment to disable it, and I'm gonna read the question in the meantime. My question is, what cool stuff can we create after the current hype?
More stuff that creates hype, more marketplaces. NFTs are super versatile, so you can use them for games. You can use them as prizes for games. You can use them to unlock games. You can use them to, create communities. You can use them for anything. There's even decentralized exchanges for NFTs, and Uniswap is going to have a functionality to give to be a liquidity provider for NFTs. So there's so much, but maybe the guys actually are better at answering this one than me.
I think of I love thinking about utility. Just a few things, like thinking of NFTs were collectibles until, and what are some of those untils, right? And we have, you mentioned it, a community like a chat, right? You can mint a nifty ink right now and go to Collab Land and say, anybody who has this nifty ink can get into this Telegram group. So there's one thing. We just have it like a gated Telegram group if you own this NFT, and we can think of all sorts of different mechanisms on how to sell or distribute that NFT, but that's just one of them, right? The instant liquidity. What about if we think more like utility in terms of like a certificate or KYC or some kind of NFT that says, hey, yes, this person is KYC'd, or this person can drive, right? My driver's license could eventually be an NFT. So I think that the utility angle is really fun. You can use these to vote, right? Anybody who owns any nifty ink can then vote on our platform of whether, oh no, I think my bandwidth dropped out, can vote with those, right? And the cool thing about that utility is it's off-chain. You can hold an off-chain vote with just signatures from NFT holders, and nothing has to go on to the mainnet Ethereum. No one has to pay gas, but you still have that utility that you get from that NFT.
Yeah, and let me add that the gaming, I personally love the gaming as that's my favorite one. I think a lot about artists recently, but I guess that's because of the hype and everything. But I think it would be really interesting to see more items in the games that kind of that goes beyond one game and becoming part of, a thing like in multiple universes. But I would like
composability, right? Like a game asset could go into another game, or one game can create a bunch of assets and someone else can use those assets completely permissionlessly, right?
Exactly.
You don't need my permission to take nifty inks and do something else with them. And I think we're going to see a ton of that.
I would love to see that. I think it's happening. And I would like to add that there are those virtual galleries, and you can help me out with naming those. But we've been, as a company, on one of the company standups, we went to a virtual gallery, and there was a wall full of CryptoPunks, and the wall itself was worth like 100K, and whoa! I was like, we were looking at that. That was pretty crazy, and I think that's gonna be a thing. The last bubble, it was all about orange Lamborghini, and now it's like, yeah, this is so old school and this is so lame. Now if you want to show that you're an important person in the crypto space, show me your gallery, right? I don't want to see your wallet. I don't want to see how many tokens you have. I don't want to see your Lambo. What I want to see is your gallery.
I have a space in CryptoVoxels that's worth more than my car. I have a floor on CryptoVoxels where I have my NFTs on the wall, and that parcel is worth more than the vehicle I drive.
Does your wife know about it?
Oh, that's a good one. Let's hope she's not watching. We want a link. Can you send a link, or is that a secret?
Yeah, for sure. No, I'll find it. Just a second.
Okay, let's go for another question. We have more and more questions. I think we're gonna do maybe 2 more, and then we go to a networking session. So Łukasz is asking, can an artist get stuck with their earnings if they sell for too low to withdraw? I'm not sure if I follow the questions. Do you understand?
Yeah, I do. And no, actually, you're not gonna get stuck with your earning because you know, transaction fees in Ethereum are not that scary for a simple transaction to withdraw. You obviously should get informed and know how much are you selling your artwork for, because you actually have to put a price on your artwork. So make sure that you research transaction fees before doing that, and you won't get stuck.
Okay, so that's regarding because the fees are expensive and the withdrawal might be the fee might be more expensive than withdrawal. Yeah, I think that might actually happen if you sell it for really cheaply, like for $1 or $2, and the fee might be $5. So that might happen. So you always need to, you need to.
Yeah, but if it's not that I want to argue, but if you're minting an NFT, you're already spending, let's say, $100 maybe. So obviously you're not going to sell the NFT for $1 unless you don't like money. Then
sure, why not? But and I think it's worth to mention, everybody knows that here, but just, you know, for all the people that just joining the space right now, there is tons L2 work, layer 2 work. So the prices are going to drop probably in a few months. This is all around the corner. People are releasing alphas, betas, testnet, mainnet. So that happens all the time. So I think this year we finally see everything finally getting together.
With Nifty, you can buy NFTs for $1. So we built it on a side chain and it upgrades to Ethereum. So it's like $200 if you want that thing to go to mainnet, or like $100 right now. But you can buy and sell them for like dollars on a side chain, and that experience is going to translate really nicely to L2. When we see all these L2s come out, that Nifty Inc. will be basically a drop-in replacement. We'll take it and it'll be Optimistic Inc. and we'll just have it and it'll scale on L2, and you will be able to buy and sell artwork for dollars.
That's a very good point. So thank you for mentioning that. Okay, and I think we have the last question. That one is a little bit weird, but let's see. Do you think NFT will have usage in military area too?
I hope not.
I'm pretty sure it will. I can't think of any, but you know the military, they'll always find a way to use everything. But
maybe the ranks. Each person outranks each person. Their key pair has a specific NFT that shows what rank they are within the in the mirror. Like, oh yeah, I can sign this NFT that shows that I'm an OG captain of something. That's scary. That's scary. I don't want to go down NFTs of military. I don't even want to touch that.
Yeah, I can't really think. Someone actually there. I think that I'm not sure, because we are on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, many different places. I'm not sure where this one coming is, but someone says buying guns and tanks on the blockchain as a joke, I guess. But actually, the permission to have a gun could be NFT, right?
Yep.
That would be interesting, though. But what would be the reason why I want to transfer that to someone? No, not really.
But there's arms trades that happen all the time. If that was on the blockchain, it would be really obvious who moved weapons to who, right? And if we need that kind of thing to be public, maybe that is a good use for it.
I'm seeing a couple of problems with that. I don't want to get into it. Well, I think we should conclude that we don't see any straightforward military usage for NFT, but you never know. You never know. We all hope not too much. guys, I'm super happy for hosting you today. Thank you for joining us. We have a networking session. Can we get an address? We have a networking session on Discord, and if you still have time, it's http://bit.ly/0xchat. So if you still have a few minutes and you would like to join, there might be some additional questions.
Sure.
And yeah, everyone who's watching us, please join us on our Discord. We will post the link. You can see the link here. We will post the link on Facebook, YouTube, and all the other platforms as well. And yeah, see you there in a bit. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Thanks for having me.